Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. So today we are going to discuss about types of evidences. So what is an evidence? Evidence is something that tends to establish or disprove a fact. Evidence can include documents, testimony and other objects. So I'll write here the definition. Evidence is something tends to establish or disprove a fact. So this evidence can include such as like documents, testimony, and other objects. So documents include any files, wills, contracts, such as like that, and testimony means some like expert or a witness is giving testimony to the court, and other objects. So these include evidences. So evidence can be divided into generally two groups. Generally, it is divided into two types. That is, first one is testimonial evidence and second one is physical evidence. So testimonial evidence and physical evidence are two general types of evidences. So what is testimonial evidence? First one will see that testimonial evidence. So testimonial evidence is a statement made under oath. So you know that in court they first, when they want to cross examine or examine any witness or subject or suspect, the first thing the court will make them to take oath. So testimonial evidence is the statement made under oath. And an example would be a witness pointing to someone in the courtroom and saying, "That guy I saw robbing the grocery store." So I saw this guy is robbing the grocery store, or we can say I saw this person was raping this girl, or this person was assaulting this person, like that. If we are giving a statement like this, that is called as testimonial evidence, and this is also called as direct evidence or prima facie evidence. So this name you can note down. So this is what is called testimonial evidence. Testimonial evidence is a statement made under oath. An example, we can say that someone is pointing to someone and telling in courtroom that I saw this person is robbing, or I saw this person was killing, like that. And it is also called as direct evidence or prima facie evidence. So the eyewitness accounts can provide important evidence leading to the arrest of this criminal. So this testimonial evidence is also like very important evidence, and with one's statement we can arrest a person. And juries are heavily influenced by this eyewitness identification. So if I'm telling I directly saw that these things happened here with my eyes, so that it is very important evidence which jury can accept. But how accurate was this, like how reliable and how accurate was this is in question. So like some reasons like revenge or something like that, bias or prejudices or anything, memory loss, anything can affect this eyewitness evidence. So eyewitness can make perpetual errors for many reasons, and the crime scene may have been too dark to encounter a proper, like he could not identify proper face of that person, or like the encounter may have too brief, or the person of a, like presence of a weapon may have diverted the eyewitness attention, or anything like that, the stress and the fear involved when witnessing something like that. So while we are seeing a crime in front of our eyes, we may be stressed or feared fear may occur, or bias, prejudice, or maybe dark crime scene, or any other like diversions, re- revenge, memory. So these all can affect the reliability and accuracy of testimonial evidence, that is the eyewitness evidence. So like errors, mainly errors in the memory process are all like a common thing, because trial can occur after 5 or 6 years after this murder, something like that. So the time between the crime and the questioning of the witness can affect what he or she remembers. So the new information can influence the memory, as well as, for example, viewing mug shots or being asked leading or suggestive questions. Maybe when the advocate was asked or is asking some questions, he may be stressed and he can't tell the correct proper thing, what he viewed. So these kind of new information can actually change the memory of the witness and even one who is trying to be fair and honest. So that it is not that reliable and not that accurate, but still eyewitness and testimonial evidence is very important. So the police need to be like careful in judging how reliable an eyewitness account might be. So some points you can like consider in that. So the type of crime, to check the reliability, the police can include so many points, that is the type of the crime and eyewitness how the witness saw it, how come he came to that place and how he saw that situation. And research has found that witnesses are more accurate in remember some characteristics such as sex and hair color than others such as age, height, and specific race. And like a witness who is physically similar to the offender is more likely to give an accurate description also. Then victims of serious like crimes sometimes have a more accurate memory, so they can ask questions to victims so they can answer it correctly. Then they will be having long memory, more accurate memory, because it touches their mind. Then the presence of weapon or the threat of violence also influence recall, because it may sharpen the witness focus. So all these things like interviewing techniques or how information interviewing technique is also very important, and or like how information is retrieved can also make a difference in the accuracy of the eyewitness story. So when a person or police officer is asking very rudely, very harshly to the witness, maybe he could be like stressed and he can't memorize everything and tell. So while interviewing the witness, we have to take care some like steps in order to make them calm and cool, so that they can explain it very clearly. So these are the things they have to remember while taking the information from the witness. And there are also other factors to think about when weighing an eyewitness account, while taking the eyewitness testimony into account for in a crime, like in a court, they have to think of some things like whether the witness already knew the accused and what their relationship between, whether the accused person and the witness have any relation. If so, what is their relation and how much time passed between the offense and the identification, and whether the witness has already identified or failed to identify the defendant, or whether the witness has already identified someone else. So most non-cases of an innocent person being convicted happen because of the mistaken eyewitness testimony. So many things you have to check whether while taking the testimonial evidence, so it is not that much accurate and not that much reliable. So that is testimonial evidence. Once again I will tell, testimonial evidence is a statement made under oath. An example would be a witness pointing to someone in the courtroom and saying that is the guy I saw robbing the grocery store, and this is also called direct evidence or prima facie evidence. How much it is reliable and accurate is in a question, because so many factors will affect the witness, like the stress, fear, bias, prejudice, darkness of the crime scene, diversions at that time, and revenge, memory power, etc. So the police officer who is investigating the crime and asking questions, interviewing the witness, should taken care so many things in order to get correct information from the witness. So next evidence is, second one is physical evidence. So what is a physical evidence? Physical evidence can be any object or material relevant in a crime. It can be any tangible thing, large or small. So that is a material fact. So physical evidence is a material fact, like to prove some material fact, and it is tangible items that tend to prove these material facts and can be any object or material relevant to a crime. So that it is called as real evidence. So physical evidence is also called as real evidence. So any material which we are collecting from the crime scene, which can link the crime with the victim and the suspect. So this can be the physical evidence. So it can be like large or small evidence. So the forensic scientists, we people are more interested in this physical evidence. So it is the task of the forensic scientist to look at evidence and determine its identity and its origin. So in identifying what a particular piece of evidence is, a scientist determines its physical and chemical properties, like physical properties such as color, density, solubility, hardness, then a refractive index. So forensic scientists can check for these physical properties and also the chemical properties, like the composition of the particular object. So often chemical properties are observed when the substance react with other chemicals. So examples like reactions or the formation of bubbles, then color change, pH, then other formation of any precipitates, etc. So the determination of the origin of evidence almost always involves a comparison of substance or object itself with something similar or the same that has a known origin. Mainly when we take when we get the physical evidence, what all things we need to do? Compare the physical evidence with the suspected physical evidence what we collected from the crime scene with the suspected evidence. So main thing is comparison, then analysis. So we know that Locard's principle. So physical evidence can be any material or object, and it can take on almost any form, like a large building, as a fleeting as an order, as small as a hair, or even submicroscopic. So anything can be a physical evidence. I will write here a large building, fleeting as an order. So in arson cases or explosive cases, we can take this into account, the order of the accelerant and all. Then small as hair, then even submicroscopic, like DNA. So physical evidence can be anything any material which can link the crime, victim and the suspect. So the variety of physical evidence is virtually unlimited, as it is unique in a crime, and physical evidence is generally much more reliable than testimonial evidence. So testimonial evidence, we told that it is in question mark whether it is reliable or accurate, but the physical evidence is much more reliable than the testimonial evidence. So that is about physical evidence and testimonial evidence. There are so many case studies regarding this, like testimonial evidence and physical evidence. So I will give that for you in reading, for your extra reading. So you can read that one. And next we'll discuss about the conditional evidence and also indirect evidence and circumstantial evidences. So that we'll continue in the next session. I hope you understood this testimonial evidence and physical evidence, the difference between these two. And if you have any doubts, you can clear. And in the next session, we'll discuss about the other types of evidences. Thank you.